All right, ladies and boys and girls, children of all ages, we're back. I'm back. We're all back. It's been a hot minute since we're back on the podcast of Awesomeness. How cool is this? Like, we did a few things, we tried a few things, and went, offline for a few good months, I guess. But now we're back, and not just back, the entire new season of the podcast of Awesomeness is back as well with a much, I can't say enough for the guests that I have for the first episode of this second season. Apparently, we have to call it first season now. So this is the second season of the podcast of Awesomeness with me. On my technically, this is my right or left. Yeah, there it is. There it is. There's him. There's him. There's
yeah.
yeah, there it is.
Hello.
All right, so yeah, just to give you
you.
guys just to give you guys a brief introduction, my on the other side of the supposed sofa that we're sitting on having this podcast, we have Hyundai Tamas, right? That's how you say it, right?
You said quite well, especially the Hunyadi part. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised, man. Many
Yeah, I mean,
people really have a hard time saying it. The best one so far was the Hyundai. So.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of podcasts, like probably a lot from Germany. Then we had a lot of people from France. I guess about 2 or 3 people that came in from HCW, but we briefly touched upon that. So welcome to the podcast, man. How have you been lately?
Thank you very much. I'm really excited about the whole podcast, and I'm doing well. I'm at the moment at my school, having having a holiday and enjoying it so far.
Mm-hmm.
Had
All right.
3 matches last week, and yeah, that's the most
Okay.
I get.
So one question that since the podcast started after the entire virus thing happened, and we had to shut down our services because we couldn't get anybody to come to our show because of the virus, and people advised us to don't do shows for some time, but then the some time ended up being like the whole year, and we still don't know how long it's gonna be. So that was the reason we started the podcast, and then the entire season happened, and so it was a great experience. But one thing that I do ask, how has the virus affected you? What were your plans if the virus had not come?
My plans were to start doing more shows. I had I think 2-3 bookings at that time. That was gonna happen,
Okay.
and I just came back from the WXW Academy when they thought okay, we close the borders, we cancel shows, and with all that things in my head, it felt really, really bad because
Yeah.
I was so ready to have all that energy. I came back and all that.
Mhm.
It was really bad. And also at the academy, the last days I had Alexander James teaching, and seeing him just sitting there reading order cancellation.
It's tough.
I
It's
really
like
hope it's not coming back.
it's really tough. But the part about the virus and everything is that it's also very tricky how it works. And we're not gonna talk about how the virus works and anything like that, because we're gonna be strictly focusing on you and how you manage everything. But the way it works is it's very tricky, because here in my city, if you didn't know where everybody live, where the company is, there is about 26 million people in the city, and
Oh, okay.
yeah,
That's a big one.
it's a big city. It's
That,
probably it's the second biggest in Asia. So there is about 25 million people here, and literally only 5% of them wear masks. And we haven't seen any new cases in a while, so I would assume that it's not affecting people here any longer. So I think that that finally it's coming to the terms that it's finally ending. But let's hope that it ends soon. So everybody goes back to their plans, and I hope that you go back to your plans and pursue what you wanted to do. So what impresses me the most about us wrestlers, because I'm also one of them. I'm sure you must have seen it on, like, I see you were there on my Instagram, so you must have seen something, a few clips or something. Um, so why wrestling though? Why what attracted you towards wrestling?
Oh, at first time, my very first match I have seen on TV was
Hmm.
the John Cena versus CM Punk in the Money in the Bank,
Hmm.
which was like a quite a match. And
Yes.
kind of instantly fell in love with the whole thing, even though I never seen it before. I never know what is this. I just
Mm.
see two guys fighting and giving fancy moves to each other, and the crowd is just going crazy about them. Then slowly I started to watch more and more. I was waiting all the nights when it was on television,
Hmm.
and to be honest, at some point I find out that there is wrestling in Hungary because I'm from there, and
Hmm.
at the and the funny thing is when I wanted to go, it was on a summer break from high school,
Hmm.
and the week before I wanted to go for my first training, I broke my wrist with
Oh,
a
okay.
funny accident. Or I mean, in that time it was awkward, super awkward.
Hmm.
From watching back years, 5 years, 6 years, it's a funny thing. And but then 1 month later, as soon as they took down the gips from my hand,
Hmm.
straight to the dojo, go for it. And what made me fall in love with it like completely is the energy I got from my very first training, because I was really used to until that moment that people are just pushing you away, and I was really a shy guy. I still am. So seeing 10, 20 guys
Hmm.
welcoming me like, hey, how are you? What are you doing? How is it going? And who are you actually?
Hmm.
And telling me that, hey, don't throw up on the first training, but if you do, the toilet is there, and don't feel it awkward. Okay? If you have
Yeah.
to, you have to. Just go and
There you
don't
go.
feel bad
Hmm.
about it. And I was like, fuck no. You are 20 here. I won't be the one who throws up. Okay? I don't know what's gonna happen here, but I won't be the one who throws up today. And after my first training, I was dead for 1 week physically, but for some magical reason, I
Hmm.
loved it.
It's
And also,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's one of the things that especially because when you're growing up and you want to think about what you want to do with your life, and then some of you you're listening that your parents will decide for you, like, okay, you wanna be this, no, you will be a doctor or an engineer or a technician or whatever you want to be. But when it comes to wrestling, it's not something that you really think about. It's just something that you want to do. And a very, very rare kind of people would actually get into the wrestling training and love it. And if you love the training, even though you're hurting, like your arms are hurting, your legs are hurting, but you really love the pain, then that means that you will be the one who will succeed in this.
yeah, and imagine that in the first training, that was my first time that I was concentrated on a neck
Mhm.
training, for example.
Yeah.
So for that 1 week, I couldn't move my neck. I was like, yeah, what?
Yeah, happened to
Oh,
me as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so in a funny way, but I really enjoyed it, and
And funny thing about
also,
too, about what you mentioned about your wrist, something like something similar happened with me as well because we were training and at that time we were already doing like house shows and we had like maybe probably our first house show was 100 people and so we were going to do a second one. We did the training for that. We scheduled all the matches. There were, I think at that time there were three matches at max, and so I was scheduled to be in the main event of that second event, and we had scheduled a lot of people to come in. We had literally begged a lot of people, do come in, do see what we're doing. Actually, just come in, have a seat, and you'll love what you see. Because at that time, people didn't they didn't really believe that we're actually going to do this. So we actually begged a lot of people. So 3 days before the actual show, I got into an accident and I broke my entire arm. And
oh,
so yeah, yeah. And so my hand was all like covered up in bandages and everything. So somebody else had to come in and take over my place because I couldn't do it. But even though I had like stitches and bandages probably all over me because it was a really bad accident, and but I was still there. I was still present in the crowd. But that moment is very, very uh, disheartening. Like you work very hard for this, and then at the end of the day, somebody else had to come in and do that. So it's a very, very
yeah.
yeah, it's a sad feeling.
I kind of hope it will never happen with me. I haven't got injured yet from wrestling,
Hmm.
as far as I remember. Like at least not like I had to miss anything.
Hmm.
One time I got injured, but not from wrestling. It was an injury during a sport lesson because I was getting ready for making a high school diploma
Hmm.
from sport. And at one point, I fucked up a handstanding and I landed on my neck. So, and I continued the sport lesson. I didn't talk about it. I was like, yeah, it hurt, but I'm
Hmm.
fine. So I continued the lesson. And after the night, I couldn't sleep because of my neck. Like it was not comfortable at any kind of position. And then the day after, I told my mom about it, and we straight went for a hospital and got a neck protection for 2 weeks. You know this thing you need to have around your neck.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like
And
I never got hurt during a match. Well, I only had like probably 15 matches or so.
ah,
I didn't do a lot of matches because I was more into like managing stuff and talking to people and getting things like on the way. Like okay, I'm probably doing management for this show and I'm making sure like everything goes smoothly and everything. Everybody when they come in, their music actually hits because there was a lot of instances where just the wrestler is walking to the ring and he's inside the ring and there is no music and he's just looking like, dude, where's the music? So I kind of like to get into that all that stuff before we make it 100% automated and professional and everything. So that's why I did a lot of few matches. But the ones I did, I never got hurt, but I would remember like my fifth and onwards, like at least 6 matches I did with the broken arm, and
oh,
that that thing was still in there. They didn't take it out. Like when they operated the arm, they put like a small chip in there, so they didn't take it out, and I thought, it's an extra protection, so I didn't take it out either. So that's how I did. So speaking of that, let's go back a little bit and let's dial it back in. I would like to know, like, what was your childhood like? Like, how were you as a child? Were you like a lot into like reading stuff, or you're always like into like video games, or how was your childhood?
I was mainly inside the video games and
Hmm.
more of the being alone and doing things by myself, playing
Hmm.
alone.
Hmm.
Even though I even though I had my brother, I
Hmm.
like my mom was a single mom, so I got used to being home alone,
Okay.
and therefore I was playing alone a lot. So when I was I think 7, and my brother was born,
Hmm.
I was like, like most of the brothers are like, oh my god, so finally I can play with someone, and I was
Hmm.
completely the other type, like, oh my god, he's here again, just go away, let me play alone, like, ah,
Yeah.
he's ah. Then when I was 11, my sister got born, and it was the same kind of thing, like, go away and just leave me alone a bit. And yes, I was always this alone child, I think. And also in the school, I haven't had many friends.
Hmm.
I had one basically, and from from that one friend, I got more friends outside of the school.
Hmm.
And basically, that's my child. I was always doing some kind of sport. So, for example, when I was 3, my mom put me into swimming, and I'm sure she can tell it much better as
Hmm.
I can do, but she tells me always that she's very sad that I was never serious about it, because
Hmm.
the one time my trainer sent me for a race, because then I was so childish. I was 6 or 7, but I was so childish about it that I just made fun. And she described it like when the others was already jumping into the water,
Hmm.
I was playing Rambo with my skirt is still on, and having this thing around my head, so I was actually looking like Rambo. And when I realized, like, okay, the race is already on, I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, 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 yeah, 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 I'm jumping. And the funny thing is, I was still not the last one. So I was not the last in that race, and I lost like half a minute over there, or even more.
Yeah,
So
I think that's the important thing. Like even if you start pretty late, and as long as you make some, as long as you make it at some place or at some point, that's I think is more important. All right, so that was the childhood, and you said the John Cena versus CM Punk match got you into the wrestling. And did you watch like any of the previous stuff, like 1990s or early 2000s, early area like Attitude Era or anything like that?
not so many times. Sometimes I find 1, 2 matches on either Facebook or Instagram. I see smaller videos, and
Hmm.
they maybe catch me, maybe don't.
Hmm.
But ac- after I started wrestling, I kind of stopped watching wrestling, which is a weird thing, I guess. But at the moment, I mostly watch highlights about. So I keep follow up what's happening at the moment, but I don't really watch full matches.
Okay.
I'm more watching moments about matches, and when I feel like I'm out of idea about my next match, then I start to watch more about,
Hmm.
okay, what, just let's kind of steal some idea and see what the big guys are doing.
Okay.
And after I watch it, I'm like, okay, that's cool. Let's make it like into my kind of style.
Hmm.
But yeah, at the moment, I mainly watch wrestling if I have someone to watch it with, and I mainly watch back my own
Mm-hmm.
matches multiple times to find, every kind of mistake I can
Yep.
repair and improve it, and
Mm-hmm.
everything that the people are reacting at, so I can know like, okay, that's a cool spot, and I can have it for a save.
Okay. What is the one thing that you really like about this business of wrestling? Like, there's obviously, there's fame that comes with wrestling. Like once you start doing like really big events, and like 500 people, 700 people a show are watching you. Maybe more than 1,000 people are watching you. People start knowing you, so you start getting recognized. So there is that. Then there are other parts of the business. So what is to you is the most interesting part about the business?
The most interesting part for me is that 5, 10, 15, as much time we get in the ring, like I love the feeling of being so freaking excited behind the curtains,
Mm-hmm.
and when my music starts, uh, then my whole mood is just changing, and like we go out there and we will
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of fun now. And I go inside, make my entrance, and if I'm not the if the other guy is coming after me, then also in
Mm-hmm.
the ring, I love that feeling that I'm just shaking and I cannot stop. I cannot stop it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just looking so excited about it. And I know in the head, like, no, I'm out here. I have to look mean, or at least as a wrestler, and I
Mm-hmm.
need to look ready. And then as soon as the ring bell starts, I don't know why, I love it when I just stop shaking and I'm 110% concentrated inside the match. And the fans also, the fans can really make something special. So like the
That's
first
yeah.
time I got like 100 people, just like just 100 people
Mm-hmm.
having shouting my name, and I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's for
Yeah, I
me.
made it. Yeah, that's all me. I did it. I did it. That's probably the best feeling. Like when you do something and they love it. And that I think that's the moment that everybody really, works so hard for, is that one moment of like recognition from the fans. Like, okay, yeah, okay, I'm doing something good. Uh, and I'll tell you, I had that one moment, and because I didn't do a lot of matches, probably I'll start doing more now after the lockdown. My One of my matches, I was already like 28 minutes in, so we were already like wrestling for 28
Oh
minutes.
my god.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was about some 35, 36 minutes, man. So we were already 28 minutes in, and my next move or my next thing was to go for the signature and then for the finisher, which obviously would have been kicked out by my partner because it wasn't supposed to end there. So when I went for the finisher and I did my move, and some like one random dude, like this is the first event we haven't met, and I don't know him. He doesn't know me. He only knows my name because the announcer said so. And it wasn't like where they were wearing these headphones, so only they and the broadcaster or the audience could hear them. It was like an open studio mic or something. So the entire block can hear what they were saying. So this one random dude started chanting my name, and I just completely like lost it, and I just started looking for him, like, whoa, where is he? Who is he? And my partner kind of got pissed at me. He's like, dude, do your thing, and that basically
But
just like
but that's like a no. You kind of have to realize that, because
yeah, yeah,
a match cannot be great because of the two of you, four of you, any of you. The
mhm,
match can be remembered because of the fans, and
Yeah.
their reaction.
Yeah.
Because like I was there, like we had there was a tables match, and for example, until 6 minutes in the match, and I'm not proud of that, we haven't really got any kind of reaction. It was mainly a brawl. We had a feud around it. So I made the entrance. The other guy just makes a run in, brawl. We go out of the ring, brawl, and in our head it was like, yeah, this is the best fucking thing we do now. But there was no reaction for it, and we rushed it until the end, and then the referee just came there. Guys, you are in 4 minutes. So it's like we got 8 to 10 minutes for the match. So we are like, fuck. Okay, so there is now 4 minutes we have to fill up somehow. And we kind of managed it. I think I was giving a big move, and we made a double down from it. And that was the moment when people started to chant, like clapping, and I started to wake up, like in the rhythm of clapping, just feeling it, and that was like the moment we just told each other with the opponent, this is the time. Now we have to go for the finish.
Yeah.
And also, I think it was 6-7 minutes the match because of this. And when we went backstage, we talked with the promoter first, and he was also like, yeah, the first 6 minutes, you didn't get any kind of reaction, but for the end of it, that was a nice work. And yeah, so a match can be remembered mainly of the fans. Also, when I made my first, we say it like only unofficial debut with Body Slam Pro Wrestling, then I was only getting a beat up from Rick the Prick, and I remember the whole thing because I made my entrance. I have this soldier gimmick. I made my salute around, and some random kid was waiting me, like having a freaking salute. And I was like, I just stopped in front of the kid, make a salute for him, knuckle, go to the next, and there was this child waiting me with like, hug me. And I'm like, oh my God, you never seen me. And of course you can get a hug.
Yeah.
And then I finished the entrance. I was going inside, and we had a face-to-face with Rick before he attacked me. And I only took one bump, his finisher, with a spinning heel kick. And all I can hear, the people was going like, holy shit. And I did a good job with this bump. And he did a good job with his kick. And people loved it. Because they were going like, holy shit. So even though it was like 3 minutes, yes, it was good.
That's great. So, one thing that I'd like to ask: what will you say is the craziest thing you have done in your match to to get people start cheering, or just to bring the X factor in your match? Like, what is the craziest thing you have done?
The craziest thing I have done was taking the table bump, I think.
Okay.
Like it was like from the apron choke slam into
Mhm.
the table and tatami under me. I think that was the craziest that I got reaction for. But in the normal matches, it's usually always something different, and I haven't really recognized yet like what is the main thing, what makes the people start crazy about my matches.
Mhm.
Sometimes I think sometimes it's my crazy neck bumps that I do, or some stronger moves that I do, but at the moment I wouldn't say anything specific that I know that they will now go crazy.
Well, that's yeah, that's that. Taking a bump on a table, that's pretty crazy because the tables aren't particularly very friendly to work with. It looks to people who are watching it on TV, to them it looks pretty easy, but to actually do that, it's actually pretty crazy. And you did it on table. We did like I did like three things that I would say is the most craziest things I've done. Number one is we were shooting this backstage kind of thing a few months ago. So I took a pedigree on like the floor, on the floor, not inside the ring,
Mm.
but on the actual floor with like marble floors.
Okay.
Second, yeah, yeah. Second thing we did was we did a DDT on a snooker table. Well, that's yeah. I think that's also recorded. So I'll send you something. And the third thing I did was actually pretty funny. We were doing this match, and it was kind of a blood match kind of thing with me and with another guy from REW. His name is Dr. Daz. So there was supposed to be a blood match, and I felt like at the end I should do this, and it was a very spontaneous thing. I basically licked his blood.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't had so many like hardcore match so far. Like this
Mhm.
table match was the only one with no rules, but
Yeah.
the only thing was in it was is the table. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
it's because with the body slammers we are not really doing hardcore matches. I would say it's very rare, maybe one, two, but at the moment I couldn't say there was any in the past.
Okay. Well, I'm sure like there would be some instances in the future where you will be like doing something like that if you prefer anything like that. So
I
what are
mean,
your yeah.
for me, it's like I would like to try out
Mhm.
hardcore matches,
Mhm.
but if I don't do, I wouldn't be sad about it. It's more of a, yeah, let's see an experience,
Mhm.
and so I can decide either if it's good for me or if it's not.
Okay. Yeah, I think experiments are good. Like you should always like give everything a first chance. Um, Speaking of like doing things for the first time, what do you think about, or have you done any intergender matches?
In trainings, we did,
Hmm.
but not on official shows. But I don't think I would have any problems with it.
Hmm.
Like, you know, many of the guys, not many, but some of the guys are having problems with, like, oh no, but the girl is not giving me a headlock, so my head is now it's on her boobs, and like,
Hmm.
so what? It's not awkward until you are not thinking of, hey, my head is on your boobs. It's just
Right.
no, no, you are in a fucking headlock. Try to get out. Act like you want to get out.
Hmm.
Keep up working. It's just the same like you are in a headlock with a sweaty guy. On, so at least during the match, it's the same. So one time we had a training with Body Slam, and I remember that one of the guys was like, absolutely, yeah, I don't really want to go with the girl. And I was like, okay, I can go. I have no problems with that.
Mm-hmm.
So it just, and we had a fun short match. So there's
Okay.
no any problem.
Okay. So, like, do you have any like female wrestler in mind that if you ever get a chance that you would wrestle with her? Like, it could be from any company. Like, it could be from WWE or AEW. Like, any female wrestler that you personally would like to wrestle.
And the female,
Yeah.
I would say inside Body Slam, I would like to try out myself against Betty Rose from Sweden, because
Okay.
she's coming many times to wrestle with us. And usually we have to get her another female wrestler
Mm-hmm.
from WWE. At the moment, I would say Alexa Bliss, because I find her character work really
Mm-hmm.
interesting and nice. Like, and I think we could make a good character kind of story match, other than more of other than moves. Like, I don't really like the let's do one spot, two spot, three spot, four spot. Do you actually remember the fifth? Yeah, okay. Then do the fifth, sixth, seven, eight, and like no. Let's go with story matches, and let's go with the slower building up and all that stuff. At least I'm more into
Mm-hmm.
that one.
Yeah,
But
or that Alexa Bliss is incredibly hot. That's another factor.
yeah, yeah. And also, I don't think I have the captain. I forgot the word. I don't have the all the athleticism to run just run 30 minutes. Move, stand up, move, backflip, front flip, 450. I'm like, what's happening actually? So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't think I have that in me at the moment.
Well, you will get there. I mean, sure, still in training, and there are a lot of things that the training will get you through. So I'm sure by the end of the training, everybody will be willing to work with you. They will love to work with you. Like I myself would love to work with you someday if we ever get a chance to call you to Pakistan, or if I get a chance to come to like your country. I'm sure we can have a great match. What kind of match would you prefer personally? Like, are you into like more brawler type? Do you want to be athletic like Rey Mysterio or somebody like that? Or so what would you prefer? What is your preference?
My preference is more of a technical striking
Hmm.
and a bit of maybe a powerhouse thing,
Okay. Okay.
but for at least my character. But I think I would be able to work also with high flyers,
Hmm.
and reflecting on the match, like I'd also love to have
Hmm.
match also with you and also with anyone actually. Like, there is not so many guys that
Hmm.
I would say like, yeah, can we pass that one? Like, just give me someone else. Also because I'm debuted last year, so I don't think I have the politic power to
Hmm.
say that, yeah, give me someone else.
Right. Right. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. So, what one of my final questions, because we have a limited time on our podcast. So, what would be your future plans from now on? Are you like full time wrestling? So you're also like studying at the moment, right?
Yeah, I'm studying, and also after I finish in January, I'm back at work.
Mm-hmm.
So usually I'm working, okay, then I go to gym, and after I'm happy to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So usually that's my daily program.
Okay.
And my goals for the future, the big goal for me is to make a living out of the pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care where, WWE, AEW, NJPW. It's not like I want to be in one of them. I just want to have a living out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And but for me, I'm really happy to go with small goals ahead. For
Mm-hmm.
example, for 2020, my goal was to reach all the three Danish promotions,
Okay.
wrestle in all the three of them. Denmark will know my name, and they will put me on every single show, of course. And that one I actually reached already in February, so I was like, okay, that was quite easy.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next for me? And I was I'm working on going abroad,
Okay.
somewhere out of Denmark. I talk a lot with the Swedish guys and
Mm-hmm.
the Kara and Thunderbolt. For example, I talk with them a lot in in the Copenhagen Championship Wrestling,
Right. Right.
and I try to talk with more German promotion. I try I try to email anyone I can, email, Instagram, Facebook. So
Well,
sometimes
I
I
think
get
yeah.
answers back, sometimes I don't. But I
Right.
just have to wait. In the last week, we had a show with IPW, which is from Germany,
Okay.
but the show happened in Denmark. So I'm like, yeah, I guess that doesn't count because it was still in Denmark, and I only got a match because a guy called Carlos Zamora got
Okay.
injured the day before at the Body
Okay.
Slam show. So I'm like, yeah, I only got the match because he got injured, and we are in Denmark, so that doesn't really count for me. It's not like I already had a match with a German promotion. It's
Mm-hmm.
just yeah, I had another match in Denmark,
Okay.
but
Well, I,
but I
I, yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, but I keep in touch with them. I
Mm-hmm.
think they were happy with what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe in the future we work together. That's depending on them mainly.
Okay. Well, I think that's great. And I think that you do have the passion to go very, very far in the business. And I really hope that you do end up, after your training is done, because, most of the things are that you want to do, you can do with, first you can do with like independent promotions with that CW. And then, if you get the chance, you can go for WWE or go for AEW, wherever you see fit. Sadly, we're at the end of our podcast. We're running out of time. So very quickly, if you can give your thoughts about like where can we see you, or if you can recommend any of your matches that are already on like YouTube or anywhere we can watch, or any of our viewers want to watch some of your matches. So where can we see them?
At the moment, the only recorded matches that I have
Okay.
on YouTube are
Hmm.
from the Body Slam Pro Wrestling. You
Okay.
can find it like that in if you type it on YouTube.
Okay.
And there is a match against Emeritus from September,
Hmm.
which was a round one match in a tournament
Hmm.
for being the best Danish wrestler. And
Right.
the match from last week Friday is in the making. I think it will be ready in a few days, and then it will be also on YouTube
Yeah.
against
Sure.
Mike. It was a match against Michael Fun in the co-main event,
Okay.
and I think it was like I think so far that was my best match, and
Okay.
Finn really worked his ass off for me, so I'm really thankful for him because of that.
Mhm.
He was really helping me through about that at that Friday. So
Well, I think that's pretty great that you finally have you already have a match that you have worked very hard for. So I think like when that comes out, you can share that with us, and we'll share it with our REW fans, and they will be able to watch and appreciate you more. And we will also try to leave your social media handles in our podcast post, so they can also go ahead and follow you. So, guys, whoever you're watching right now on the page of Revolution in Eastern Wrestling, this was our first episode on season 2 of the podcast of Awesomeness. The links to follow our great fan Hunyadi here will be in the description, so you can go ahead and follow him on. I think that he is on. You're on Instagram, right?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so
I'm
he
on
is on it.
Instagram, also on
Yep.
Facebook. Also on Facebook, you can just start to follow me because I share at both Instagram and Facebook my all my things.
Okay, great. So
So
we'll leave both, and you guys can go ahead and follow him and see how great he is, and what he does in the future. You can also follow Revolutionary Sim Wrestling on Facebook and on Instagram. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. That was all for the first episode of season 2, and thank you, Nyadi, for joining us for this first episode. It was really great having you on board, and it was really very great knowing you, and we wish you best of luck for your future, and wherever you go, whatever you do, we hope that you will do the best.
thank you very much for being here and inviting me for the show. I
Thank
really
you so
enjoyed
much.
it.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you really enjoyed, and if in the future, if we ever get time, we can do a part 2 with you as well. So until then, I hope that you have a good day, and stay safe, buddy.
You too. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Have a great day.
Bye bye.